You one crazy old man.
You'll get there.
Let's go.
Even though Sylvester Stallone originally pitched the Rocky prequel as a separate project, there's a real opportunity here for it to serve as a narrative backbone for Rocky VII. Instead of going full flashback mode like a spin-off series might, Rocky VII could weave elements of his past into the present-day storyline, showing how Rocky's current emotional state is being shaped by long-buried memories. It wouldn't just be about a new fighter or training montages. It could be a deeply personal, reflective story that allows audiences to understand what really shaped the Italian stallion long before he became a champion. Think of it like this. Rocky is older now. He's semi-retired, maybe even fully retired from mentoring anyone. He's living quietly, maybe still in Vancouver near his son. But something, maybe Mary Ann's death, or a chance encounter with a troubled youth like Chucho, triggers a flood of memories. Those memories could be told through well-placed flashbacks to Rocky's teenage years, not as the whole movie, but as meaningful windows into his early struggles, mistakes, and the origin of the traits that made him such a lovable underdog. The story could go deeper than what we saw in the first Rocky film. We already know adult Rocky was a down-on-his-luck boxer and part-time muscle for loan sharks, but we never really saw how he ended up there. The prequel angle could show a young, angry Rocky dealing with a rough neighborhood, maybe getting kicked out of school, and finding boxing as his only path out. It's also the perfect way to revisit his relationship with Adrian, but with fresh layers. If Stallone really wants to explore Rocky and Adrian meeting as teenagers, Rocky VII could frame that through a lens of memory, not a literal retcon. It lets us see how their love began, how awkward and imperfect it was, and just how much Adrian meant to Rocky now that she's gone. There's also a powerful emotional arc just waiting to be told. What if Rocky's present-day bond with Chucho mirrors something from his own past? Maybe he sees his younger self in this kid, reminding him of the fire and the mistakes he had at that age. Through mentoring Chucho, Rocky ends up confronting his own regrets, and if the story slowly blends scenes of his teenage years with the present, we'd get a movie that celebrates his legacy while also building towards something new. This approach gives Stallone the best of both worlds. He gets to tell the coming-of-age story he's been teasing, young Rocky, young Adrian, young Paulie even, but without needing to recast the entire original film. Instead, it becomes part of a larger final chapter. Rocky VII could be both a reflection and a redemption, offering Rocky one last fight, not in the ring, but within himself. A fight to make peace with his past, to heal his broken relationships, especially with his son, and to pass the torch in a meaningful way. If done right, Rocky VII wouldn't just be another sequel. It would be a full-circle moment. It would let Stallone close the book on Rocky Balboa with heart, nostalgia, and the grit that made audiences fall in love with him in the first place. And instead of undoing the original film's legacy, it could reinforce it, showing that behind every great fighter is a journey that started long before anyone was watching. One major reason Rocky VII hasn't happened yet comes down to behind-the-scenes drama, specifically the complicated relationship between Sylvester Stallone and longtime franchise producer Irwin Winkler. While Stallone famously wrote and starred in the original Rocky film back in 1976, he doesn't actually own the rights to the character. Winkler has held control over much of the franchise, including Rocky Balboa himself. Over the years, the relationship between the two has soured considerably. Stallone has been vocal about his frustrations, going so far as to say that Winkler messed up the development of Rocky VII. According to Stallone, when he began pushing for a share in the financial success of the franchise he helped create, Winkler pulled the plug on the new movie entirely. It was a crushing blow for fans and for Stallone, who had already begun working on ideas for the next chapter. Despite this, Stallone hasn't given up. The script for Rocky VII has reportedly been written, with Stallone envisioning it as a more intimate, character-driven story. The plot would follow Rocky mentoring a young, undocumented fighter named Chucho, who's on the run from a troubled past. It's a story that returns Rocky to his roots, not in the ring, but in the neighborhood, offering guidance and wisdom while reflecting on his own journey. And here's where Amazon Studios enters the ring. Now that Amazon owns MGM, the studio has expressed major interest in expanding the Creed and Rocky universes. Projects like Creed IV, an anime series, and even a Drago spin-off are all in development. But so far, everything has revolved around Michael B. Jordan's Adonis Creed. While the Creed saga has done a great job of passing the torch, fans have been vocal about wanting more of the Italian stallion. Amazon, with its deep pockets and streaming ambitions, could be the key to finally resolving the Rocky VII stalemate. Bringing Stallone back for one more film would not only honor the legacy of the franchise, but also generate massive buzz. It could even be a dual-purpose project, telling a modern-day Rocky story while including flashbacks or side arcs that lay the groundwork for a possible Rocky prequel series. Stallone has teased that idea before, envisioning a series about Rocky's early years growing up in Philadelphia. A Rocky VII film could tie it all together, bridging the old and the new, the past and the present. Imagine a story where Rocky helps Chucho while also battling his own demons, perhaps grieving Paulie, dealing with his health, or even just reckoning with being a legend in a world that's moved on. Meanwhile, flashbacks could hint at the formative events in Rocky's youth, planting seeds for a prequel show down the line. The rights issue with Winkler is still a hurdle, but if there's one thing the Rocky franchise has taught us, it's that comebacks are always possible. And if Amazon plays its cards right, Rocky VII could be more than just a return. It could be the most heartfelt, grounded chapter yet. Also, let's be real, Stallone sitting out Creed III kind of makes it clear that Rocky VII is way more likely to happen now. It's like a quiet way of saying there's not much room left for Rocky in the Creed spin-offs. If he randomly popped back up in Creed IV, it'd honestly feel a little forced, especially since he wasn't around for some pretty huge moments, like Marianne's death or Adonis jumping back into the ring. On the other hand, doing Rocky VII gives Stallone the perfect chance to bring Rocky back in a way that makes sense, focusing fully on his journey again. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. If you've got any thoughts or suggestions for future videos, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you want to see next. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop, especially if you're into updates on your favorite upcoming movies and shows. We've got plenty more coming your way, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.